If the kitchen's where you'd rather have your friends and family gather, you should hit the like and subscribe down below. And if filling plates and platters while maintaining flavor matters, then there's a stellar cook that you should know. It's Rain, the planet with a palate. They'll keep you fed and coming back for more. So come on, take up space. Rain will make a tasty plate and tell the diet Karens where to go. It's the planet with a palate cooking show.
Howdy y'all, and welcome to another episode of Planet with a Palate. It feels so good to be back, you guys. I'm very excited about season 2, and I'm gonna do something this morning that's like my favorite meal of the day, okay? Probably the easiest thing to make in my opinion, but also one of my favorite things in the world is eggs. The incredible edible egg. You guys, you can do so much with eggs. You've seen me last season make a quiche, and now I'm gonna show you my very simple and easy scrambled eggs, but today we are making Spam and eggs, baby. I love Spam actually when it's made the right way. Like, it's so good. And when I make Spam and eggs, I actually mix the Spam in with the potato. So you've seen me make a potato hash in a skillet before with like sausage and apple, and it's so good. But I love having potatoes for breakfast. And today we're gonna do like a roasted potato with some onions, with some Spam. It's gonna be really, really yummy. And yeah, let's get started. You're not gonna need to peel these potatoes, which is nice. We're just gonna cut them up into squares, like a, you know, fairly medium-sized chunk like this. I'm leaving the skins on. The skin's where a lot of the nutrients is, and also it crisps up really nice in the air fryer. So we're gonna do that. Get us some potatoes going here. I love potatoes with breakfast. Now, being from Texas, one thing I noticed, we have something down in the South called home fries that it's basically, in Texas, it's basically a little pieces, chunks like this, basically about what I'm about to do with them. But ever since I moved to Florida, the way they do the home fries is so different. They do them in rounds, and I feel like nothing ever really gets fully cooked. At first, I hated it because I was like, this isn't a home fry. But I've gotten used to them over time. Still not as good as the Texas home fries, sorry. Y'all know I'm just a Texan living in Florida. I mean, I do kind of consider myself a Floridian now, especially since I love the Gators so much. Woo woo, go Gators. All right, so now we've got our potatoes. We're gonna start by drizzling our pan, a little bit of olive oil, because I'm a big fan of the flavor, but I don't want it to overpower it. Just a wee little bit of sesame oil. Throw our potatoes on here. Oh, I can already smell the sesame oil. It's so good. If y'all don't cook with other types of oil a lot, I would definitely suggest it. I mean, you can even make oil to be flavored. Like, you can add flavors to your oil. If you grow rosemary in your garden like I do, you can make a rosemary oil really easily. Cut up this onion. Is it just me, or does anyone else always think of Shrek anytime they're unpeeling an onion? I want some chunks. Some chunky onions. They're not too big, but I don't want them finely diced. That all looks pretty decent. Just gonna kind of chunk them in here. You know, it's funny because I have a lot of things that I love to cook, and so because of that, sometimes I'll go like months and months between making a meal that I really love. It has been quite a while since I've made Spam and eggs, and I gotta tell you, I'm excited. I do love a good breakfast. We're gonna want a little bit more onion than that, so I'm gonna go ahead and, this is kind of a small one, so I'm gonna cut up the whole thing. Any of you who saw me try to make my deviled egg pasta salad last time know I'm not great at unpeeling things, especially eggs. Although it worked out surprisingly well that time, and I really think it's because I cooked the eggs perfectly, which was like very unlikely to happen, but it did. The other thing I always think about when I'm chopping onions that lives rent-free in my head for the rest of my life is Flight of the Conchords. I don't know if any of you guys watched that show on HBO while it was out, or know the band Flight of the Conchords, but they have a song that's like, I'm not crying. And the whole idea is like, they've gone through a breakup and they're trying to explain that they're not actually crying. Like, these aren't tears, because obviously embarrassed to be crying over the breakup. But Brett has a verse where he's like, I'm not crying. And he's like, I'm making a lasagna for one. His whole thing is that he's cutting onions. He wasn't really crying. He was just cutting onions. Next up, our Spam. Spam's super easy to open, but as you see, gets stuck in the thing. We're gonna pull it off the sides of the can with a little Little shimmy. There we go. Woo! Hey, Archimedes. He wants the Spam. I remember, now they never tried it when they were here, but when my spouse was here, they saw the can of Spam in my pantry and were like, what is this? It offended their sensibilities, but kind of like boiled peanuts, but then they tried boiled peanuts and they were like, okay, this is delicious. So now we throw all the Spam. Okay, that's a big chunk. Hold up. Hold up. How'd I miss you? Now we throw all the Spam in. Wash my hands.
Hygiene is important, guys.
And then what we are gonna do is drizzle this with a little more oil, olive oil, just a wee little bit of that sesame oil. Now, we don't need a lot of salt because Spam is quite salty. I'm gonna put some fresh herb on this. Oh no, I'm out of pepper. That's just rude. A little bit of garlic powder. Normally I would definitely put black pepper, but I have apparently used one. There's a wee little bit left in here. Normally I would put a lot more black pepper than this, but that's what we've got. Know how I'm gonna get my pepper in. So this steak seasoning has a lot of pepper in it. And other than that, it's got salt, spices, garlic, onion, and pepper, and extract of paprika. So that'll be kind of perfect. You can already see the pepper going on there. There we go. That's much better. And a little bit of Cajun seasoning because we like a little spice. Now we're just gonna mix this all up with our hands. Try to get the seasonings and the oil on everything. And then we wanna sort of flatten it out across the pan as much as we can. That way everything gets a even cook on it. This is gonna be delicious, y'all. I haven't made this in a while. Now we're gonna throw this in the oven to air fry. You can also just cook it in the regular oven on like 400, 450 degrees, however you wanna do it, but I'm gonna air fry it at 425. And probably about halfway through, we're gonna come in, turn them over. That way we get the nice crispy coat on both sides. There we go.
Do they know that your oven is broken?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do. It's so funny, like I'm doing a cooking show in this tiny little air fryer. My dream, my delusions of grandeur, and part of it is my own fault for not updating my channel like consistently the way that I should be. Sorry guys, I love you. Is, you know, I had these, when my channel started and, you know, Candy shouted me out and all of a sudden I just started getting like loads of subscribers all of a sudden. It was like, oh, I started having like delusions of grandeur, like, you know, like, wow, like I'm gonna make it big on YouTube.
And fix the oven.
Well, no, it went higher than that. I was like, I'm just gonna get a new house with like a big kitchen, like a, you know, my kitchen's small and my oven doesn't work, but it has a lot of personality, you know? It's a very cute place to cook in.
This is the new microwave. This is not. There you go.
We are gonna prep our scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs are the easiest kind of eggs to make in my opinion, but there is definitely a better way to make them. Today we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna do about 9 eggs because we're feeding about 3 people, which means I'll probably have leftovers, but I would rather have too much, but not enough.
Oh yeah, Arthur's not here, sorry guys.
Yeah, no Arthur this weekend, but I do get to spend the weekend with my oldest son.
Hi.
And we got to watch the new Goosebumps.
On Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus, which was really cool. Although I haven't seen the first episode yet because when Tyler came over for the weekend, he had already watched the first episode. Whoa.
That was almost bad.
Whoa. You'd already seen the first episode and you told me it's not worth watching now that I have all the context and everything.
I'd say if you're watching it for the first time, yeah, watch the first episode for context, but it's the first episode's the worst one. I will go on record of saying that right now.
With our scrambled eggs, we're gonna throw in a little salt. Good Lord, why don't I have pepper? Little herby herb in there.
Who's your favorite character in the Goosebumps show? I'm sure people are very invested in this train of thought.
Ooh, my favorite character in the new Goosebumps show. I do like a lot of the characters. Well, first of all, as you saw, I mark out really hard for Justin Long.
Yeah.
We stan Scream King, and you know, there's a lot of people who are like Scream Queens, you know, like girls who do horror movies, and I love them. I'm gonna shout out because I don't think anyone thinks of her as a Scream Queen, but like truly every horror movie she's been in, Chef's Kiss, Katie Holmes. I love Justin Long. I feel like he's a competent enough actor, but also like slightly cheesy. And also he has just sort of like a aura about him, like his own personal way of speaking and stuff that like nobody else really brings that energy to the screen, and it's perfect for horror. So I'm gonna say he's not my favorite character, but I am very excited that Justin Long's in the show. But of course I have to choose the LGBT character. James is, I mean, 10 million sexy cat Jameses. That was just that was a hoot. Honestly, it was very funny, and he's a good character. So I like all the characters in the show, though. Really, I feel like they all have their own place in the show, and it's cheesy, but it's well done.
I like Lucas.
Lucas?
I was expecting to like James most just because I like Miles McKenna as a person, but I think Lucas is probably my favorite character.
Wait up, hold up.
Lucas is Worm Boy.
I'm just now realizing that James is Miles McKenna.
Yeah.
Like the whole time I've been going like, wow, like this kid looks so familiar, and and
I told you he was in the show.
Yeah, well, you know, I forget literally everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that was Miles.
Okay, I love Miles McKenna anyways. And like, can we also call Miles McKenna Scream King? Because didn't he do some other horror thing that we watched?
No, that was a murder mystery thing. It wasn't really horror. He was in Guilty Party.
It counts. Adobo. So salt, pepper, adobo. Just a wee little bit up in there. So when you're making scrambled eggs, the important part is the whip. So the idea is you want to just keep whipping it. Keep whipping it. When you think it's whipped enough, it's not. This is how you get fluffy scrambled.
Just a solid hour of this.
You see how it's starting to get like a little bit of like bubbly? You want that. Honestly, when I just said that, you guys know I'm like obsessed with the lady who's like, if it ain't cheesy, it don't go down easy or whatever. You see that? You want it like that. Okay, so there's this lady who does all these reels and she basically is reacting. It's a react channel to like all these people cooking, and she's so funny. It's always like bad cooking videos. So it'll be like, you know how people just like put ramen in a pan, stick a steak in the middle, put seasoning direct, like a thing of mac and cheese seasoning on top. Like, it's horrible stuff. And so she'll just always be like, you see how that looks unnatural? That's what you want. So now that I've really given this a good whip, as y'all can see, and it's got nice little bubbles forming around the side, that's where you want your eggs. I know a lot of people will swear by using like butter or whatever in your scrambled eggs. I mean, obviously butter is delicious, but I find that when you make your eggs properly, you don't need the butter.
5 whole sticks of butter.
Okay, so now we would just wait. Let me look and see how this is going. They're not looking crispy on this side yet, so I'm gonna let them go this last 5 minutes, and then we will come back and give them a little flip and start our eggs. Because, you know, scrambled eggs don't take very long. I need something out of the fridge that I forgot. My kids will just be chomping on some herbs.
Listen.
Peach came in the other day and was like, did you know that Arthur was just in there like, I'm having a snack? And he was eating leafy greens, which is not something he does often. Yeah, it was parsley. Unfortunately, I don't have any parsley in the garden right now. My garden is pretty bare right now, but it's getting cooler. So I'm about to start getting planting like crazy. This is not the greatest bunch, but those look pretty good. Oh, we got some crispy action. Kitchen witch stirring magic. It's looking good.
A close-up view.
Yeah, this looks great. Turn it all around. Give it a nice toss. Try to get the ends that we haven't crisped up yet on the outside. I do love spam and eggs. This is gonna be good. I have a friend, Clue, who has been helping with some food prep for like parties and stuff that I've been throwing. She's a friend, but I also pay her for help around the house and stuff. I am actually thinking about asking her how she would feel about being on camera on the show, or just doing my food prep for the show as part of, you know, the weekly routine. I would just keep thinking about the fact that everyone else has a sous chef, but I could have a Clue chef. So in the season finale, which was the last Gators episode, my amazingly talented editor of a son edited together a different opening, because since the person cooking in that episode is my best friend Ivy, I literally was like, okay, we need an Ivy intro. It was great because you like edited together such a good intro. I laughed so hard when I saw it. It was so funny, so well done. I'm filming now for season 2, but we actually haven't put together a season 2 intro, so I'm excited to see how that's gonna go as well. Woo! Hot. Hot, baby, hot. I could go crispier. So I'm gonna throw this back in, and while we do that, we're gonna start our eggies.
That's the sound you want from your air fryer.
I turned it off and it's still doing this.
It's a bomb.
Can it stop already?
Guess not.
Guys? What even? That was the weirdest thing. That was horrifying. All right, so now I like to cook my eggs on medium low always. If I'm making a sunny side up egg, that's the trick too. And for a sunny side up egg, the trick is that you gotta move your pan while it's going, but not for these bad boys. While our pan's getting hot, let's go ahead and chop up this parsley. So when you're chopping herbs, I find the easiest thing to do is kind of roll them. Although, you know, what do I know? People constantly are on me about my knife skills not being that great. It's true. I mean, my general fine motor skills aren't that great, so I feel like that just applies to chopping. So our oil's nice and hot. Pour our mixture in here. These eggs are gonna be so good that you definitely don't need the cheese. However, my roommate Peach really is a big fan of cheesy scrambled eggs, so we're gonna add some cheese to this. I'm using shredded cheddar. You can really use any kind of cheese, honestly. You could use feta. I love feta and some eggs.
Roquefort cheese.
Okay, maybe not Roquefort cheese. For y'all who don't know what Roquefort cheese is, it's like this very, very stinky cheese, kind of like a blue cheese or something, but it's like specifically grown in this one cave. It's a very intense flavor, Roquefort cheese. So once you see that your eggs start to kind of be done around the sides, that's when I usually come in and start to stir. We're looking for fluffy eggs here. We just let them sit and keep cooking and kind of toss them as they go. So it's going to take a little bit longer because it's going to take a little bit longer just because I'm doing it on medium low heat, but I like that. I like the way they cook better. I like the fluffiness of them better. I just feel like it's a much better deal. So I made an omelet. Literally one time I have made an omelet and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I know the basic structure of an omelet, but I've never made one before.
You're like, I've had an omelet before.
Right. Like, I've had omelets. I've never made one before. And so but I didn't know that you're not necessarily supposed to flip them. You're supposed to use the same trick where you keep moving it in the pan, but I didn't do that and I didn't know that. So Roman came in and I had 2 spatulas and I was trying to precariously flip my omelet with 2 spatulas. And they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, making an omelet. And they're like, oh, that's an interesting technique to make an omelet. Then they tried the omelet and they were like, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good omelet. And I was like, oh, good. Like, it was my first omelet. And they were like, that was your first omelet? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I mean, your technique was off, but it tastes delicious. Like, that's great for a first omelet. And I was like, yeah.
God gives his worst omelet techniques to his strongest soldiers.
Oops.
You're getting egg everywhere.
You know, I think I'm getting egg everywhere now. Just wait till I eat these. Our friends, Leah, Blake, and Shayna, their whole family says pull in a rain. If you get food on your shirt, it's called pull in a rain. I don't want to cook them too much because I want them to stay fluffy. So we're taking them off the heat. Parsley. Oh, this looks so good. And it smells delicious. Spam and eggs, y'all. Oh my God. Delicious. Well, that looks good, y'all. I'm ready to eat. I'm so excited. I love breakfast, y'all. Let's dig into these eggs, first of all. Can we please? Oh my gosh. So good. So fluffy. Love the parsley on top. Although I do have to say, when it's homegrown parsley, it tastes even better. I'm gonna dig into this. I'm gonna get a little bit of everything. An onion, a potato, and a piece of Spam. Make your Spam this way. If you think you hate Spam, you don't. You just haven't had it the right way.
Oh, real quick, to all the people who like to conspire that they're starving their kids, this is my plate.
It's so true. They're always like, why isn't Arthur eating? And I'm like, oh, you know, I just locked him back in his room. No, he eats. They all eat. Everyone eats. I just love to feed everybody all the time. So I'm adding a little bit of ketchup and a little bit of hot sauce together. mix it together to make the perfect concoction for these potatoes. Obviously, they don't need much. They honestly don't need it, but I like ketchup, so. Especially spicy ketchup. Oh my gosh, that's so good. To all the people who like to conspire that they're starving their children. That was funny. Breakfast is my favorite meal. I love it so much that a lot of times we make breakfast for dinner around here too. But oh yeah, that's good. Oh my God. And the Spam, just gives this little kick of salt and hamminess. Spam and eggs.
It's also wild to me too that people say that, because like Arthur's not good at hiding how he feels. If he was being like neglected,
oh, they would know.
They would know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So one time I finally decided towards the end of last season to let Arthur try something on camera, and he pulled a full Arthur, like gagging and like just, you know, just like no, and everyone was like, oh, this kid don't want to eat it. No. He doesn't like everything I cook, although he would not eat, he might eat the Spam and potatoes here. Hit or miss. Definitely the potatoes he would eat. Oh my God. This is so good. So before I started my episode today, I met my mother-in-law for the first time. So this was my outfit to meet my mother-in-law, my French mother-in-law. It went very well. She was very sweet. She's very beautiful. So good. Less talking, more eating. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I did remember a napkin this time, you guys. So far, I haven't needed it yet, which is honestly shocking.
You?
Yeah.
And you have sauce too. How do you?
I mean, it doesn't. If it counts, I spilled on myself while I was cooking. So, gosh, this is good.
You should post like a fail compilation. It's just like all the bits of you spilling stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Making a mess everywhere.
I feel like that would be a full episode length, to be honest. My very first episode, I went to pour gravy over my chicken and poured the whole thing. It was a mess. And then I found out afterwards that that was all the gravy that there was. And I didn't realize that. Like, I didn't know that I wasn't saving gravy for everyone else. Oops. I mean, there was a little bit of gravy left. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is an apple juice that has cinnamon and ginger mixed in. And I garnished it with just a slice of apple and some ginger. Ginger and cinnamon go so good together. And I love ginger with something sweet. This is so delicious. I put it in my Scorpio cup. Because Scorpio season, y'all. My birthday's coming up. That's good. It's the perfect addition to this because with like the spicy ketchup, the saltiness of the Spam, savory eggs, and then this little splash of sweet and spicy. I would definitely suggest. You could also garnish it with a cinnamon stick, but I'm out of cinnamon sticks. Apple juice mixed together with a little cinnamon, a little ginger powder, and garnish it with the apple. Slice is the perfect. I mean, normally I don't talk about my drinks this much, but it really is the perfect complement to this meal. Oh my God, this is so good. I can't believe my plate's gone already. I'm full though. It's a very filling meal. Yum.
Proof I'm not being starved. I just don't want the rest of the eggs.
Thanks. I don't mind being the garbage disposal for everyone else's leftovers. Fine by me. That was so good. I want to shout out my Planeteer of the week, who is Joette Kohler. And Joette, thank you so much for being here. You are wonderful. And while I was on hiatus between seasons, you've just been a really good pal, like messaging me, checking in on me, seeing how I'm doing. And also, I really appreciate you and how wonderful you are and how supportive you've been. So thank you, Joette, and thank you everybody who's here. I'm so happy to be back, and y'all should look forward to lots of new episodes because I have all kinds of yummy food coming, and I can't wait to share it with y'all. All right, have a great week, everyone. Bye.
It's the Planet with a Palate cooking show.